So tell me about your routine with Snooty. How do you start the day? What do you do with him?
Well, Snooty doesn't know it, but I spend a lot of time preparing the food for him. First of all, he gets his apple. I cut it in 4 pieces, and I wash it, cut it in 4 pieces, take it up to the med pool. That's where Snooty usually is, and I feed him the apple. That's the very first thing. Next, I go down and start preparing his food. I have to get, 60 pounds of lettuce, but I do the lettuce last because that's the heaviest. I save the heaviest for last. And 2 pounds of broccoli, 3 pounds of kale, 3 pounds of cabbage, and you can imagine what it does to his intestinal tract. You know, we have that all day long. Manatees are big suppliers of methane gas. So I get all this food plus carrots. He has to get carrots and sweet potatoes. Now, the young ones get white potatoes. Snooty gets sweet potatoes. He's special. And he loves beets. Now, we just use beets for training purposes. We don't want Snooty to get overweight again. He was overweight. Good boy, good boy. Now he's a geriatric manatee. He has a membership in the AARP. He's just a senior citizen, and we don't want him overweight. So I prepare all the food, and I bring it up on a lift. He gets 60 pounds of lettuce. Bring that up on a lift and distribute it at the feeding station. In the meantime, I'm checking fish tanks and making sure everything is all right with them. There's many things to do. We have to do water chemistries on the pool. We do chlorine twice a day and make sure that Snooty does not have too much chlorine in his pool. We check the water temperature, not only of the fish tanks, but of course the pool. And I don't like it when it gets too cold, but Snooty doesn't mind. Now, manatees can stand 68 and above water. I don't like 68. We have it usually 84, 85. In the winter it goes down. But Snooty has his first presentation at 11:15 unless we have school groups. And Snooty loves all the kids. They laugh and have a good time. Everybody wants to see Snooty. And they just enjoy him when I bring him up on the dock. Now, Snooty has some behaviors. We have taught him to roll over because then we can check his underside and we can check his whiskers. And when we give him a carrot, he'll take the carrot in his peck and put it in his mouth. And the people just love that. They use these pecks like we use our hands. So after he does that, then I slap the dock and up he comes. He's got his pecks on the dock, and then I give him sweet potato. So you have to, give them treats, and they remember that behavior. A lot of times he doesn't want to come up, but I tell the people, he has his own agenda. If he wants to, okay, and if he doesn't, nothing you can do about it. He's 1,100 pounds. So my day is doing presentations, taking chemistries, doing a lot of things with the rehabs, but we don't touch them. Snooty gets hand-fed. He loves to be hand-fed, and he eats usually 60 pounds a day. Now at his presentations, he's a ham. I mean, he's just a big show-off. And if he sees a camera, he's right there. Hey, here. Oh, now you really want to see him, huh? Manatees are very curious animals. That's why they get in trouble out in the wild. Thank goodness Snooty isn't in the wild.
So Snooty is 65 years old, and you're 75. What advice do you have for him on getting older?
Snooty is a youngster compared to me. He's 65, I'm 75, and I would just tell him to be laid back, calm, and have a real good sense of humor. That is very important, and I think Snooty does. I don't think he laughs per se, but I think he enjoys what's going on around him. But he needs a sense of humor, and he needs to keep nice and trim and slim. We don't want any heart attacks. Keep that weight off, and just be personable.
Very good, thanks. And okay, big question. How much does Snooty mean to you?
Oh, that is tough because Snooty means the world to me. When I first started, I was having some nerve issues, problems. And when I started with Snooty, I started volunteering. Now that's the way that you get jobs. I volunteered 4 or 5 years, didn't really want a job, but then they wanted somebody, so I said okay. But Snooty is the only one that can get me up at 5 o'clock in the morning like I did this morning. It doesn't bother me if I know I'm going to see Snooty. And as I'm driving to work, I'll see other people in cars and say, I'm going to see Snooty and you aren't. Isn't that bad? That's terrible. But everybody loves Snooty. And there's some people that say, I love Snooty, and they don't even get to actually meet him or touch him. And they still love him. He has personality. We call him Mr. Personality.